This lesson is on proportions in a self-portrait, and we'll be drawing a picture of ourselves, and so we'll especially focus on our face proportions. Now our I can statements along with this is I can recognize visual artwork from Leonardo da Vinci, and I can draw a self-portrait using correct proportions. Now Leonardo da Vinci might be familiar to most of you. He was the famous artist who drew the Mona Lisa, as you see here, and also the Last Supper, and those are very, very famous works of art. He was an Italian painter during the Italian Renaissance from 1452 to 1519. Now Leonardo da Vinci was a painter and a sculptor. He was an architect, a musician, a mathematician. He was an inventor and a writer and just an overall genius. He was very, very famous for his works of art. And also his sketchbooks. These are two self-portraits of Leonardo da Vinci. A self-portrait means that the artist drew a picture or a painting of themselves. So if I drew a picture of someone else, that would not be a self-portrait, that would just be a portrait. So Leonardo da Vinci painted the one on the left and he sketched the one on the right, and they are both of himself. Now, Leonardo da Vinci was very famous for his sketchbooks. He kept a sketchbook and kept a journal of his ideas and his drawings. And what he did was a little bit against what society would have liked, but he wanted to know how the body was put together. Now, today, if we want to know how the muscles and bones fit together, we just go to a book or online and we look it up. Well, back in his day, they didn't have books to look up the information, and so he actually went to a morgue, which is where dead bodies are taken after someone passes away. And it wasn't very liked by society, so he kept it a secret, but he went to the morgue and actually cut open dead bodies and looked and studied how the body was put together. Now that might seem kind of gross to you, but we wouldn't have any good medical health care. We wouldn't know how to do surgery without someone sometime actually cutting open a body and looking at how it's put together. So this is a couple sketches from his work, and as you can see, they're very detailed little drawings, so very accurate about how all the muscles and ligaments and everything in the body fits together. Now he also did this for faces. This is where face proportion comes in. Proportion might be a new word for you, but it just means the size of something compared to something else. So if you had a very big eye and a very small nose, that would look out of proportion and it wouldn't be accurate. Now, if you want to draw realistically, like it looks like something in real life, you need to have good proportion. That means the eye is the same size as it needs to be when you look at the rest of the face. And this is a sketch from Leonardo da Vinci's sketchbook, and as you can see, on top of his drawing is a couple lines that look out of place, but what they are is they're measuring from his eye to his chin and from his nose to his ear. Here's another drawing of the same thing. He's measuring how far apart things are and what size they are in relation to something that's by it, like the nose to the eyes, and that's how he has very realistic drawings. Here's one more, and it's the same idea. So he was not only a very accurate drawer and painter, but he had to work at it. He really studied, and he was really good at observing real life, and you cannot be a good drawer without being a good observer. So we learn a lot from Leonardo da Vinci, and we learn how we can look at faces and draw them with realistic proportion, and that's what we're going to be doing today. So we're going to be drawing your face, a self-portrait with accurate proportions. There's a few rules that you can follow as you go along. If at any time you need to pause and work on your own drawing while I'm doing this, that's just fine. But I'm going to go ahead and show you the rules for drawing accurate proportioned faces. Now the first step to drawing a face is just to do the nice oval shape of your face, just like that. Anytime you draw, you need to draw lightly so you can erase. Some of these lines will just be guidelines to show us where features go on the face, so you need to draw lightly. Now, we draw a few guidelines on here, and the first guideline is to go right in the middle of the oval and draw a line all the way across, right in the middle. The second guideline is to go all the way up to the top of the oval and draw straight down so that you have a cross. It almost looks like the crosshairs of a bullseye there. Now, this really helps us set the eyes in the right place, because usually when someone doesn't know how to draw a face, they draw a face and the eyes go way up here, which is not accurate at all. If you look at a friend next to you, their eyes are actually right in the middle from the top of their head to the bottom of their chin. So on this line, I'm going to draw kind of a football shape. You can draw a curve down and a curve like that. So it almost looks like a lemon. I'm going to do it on both sides. I like to do one more line here for an eyelid and two circles in the middle for the iris of the eye, just like that. Now, once we have the eyes in, we're going to split our face into one more section. From right here in the middle of the cross to the bottom of the chin, we're going to find the middle of that line right there. And we're just going to draw a very light guideline across the middle, splitting the face once more. Now, this is the nose, so I'm going to do a little curve, just a very subtle curve with two little kind of parentheses on either side, just like that. Now we're going to add the mouth. We're going to divide it in half one more time. Now this time it's going from the tip of the nose to the bottom of the chin. Right in the middle is one more guideline. So I'm going to draw a really light line across, and this is where the mouth goes. To do the mouth, I like to do kind of a V shape right there. Draw two lines out from the V and do a mouth just like that. Now we have the basics of just the eyes, nose, and mouth. So we're going to add a few more things. If you look at your neighbor, look at their ear. If you draw a line from the outside of the eye all the way across, their top of their ear starts right there. And it goes to the tip of the nose down here. So as you can see, we started the eye right at, or the ear right at this guideline, and we drew it till it met the guideline right here. I'm going to do it on the other side from the eye all the way down to the nose again, just like that. Now it might look like you have quite a bit of space up here, but don't forget that we have hair. Now, a lot of people draw hair just on the top of the head like that. That's not how that works, actually. We actually like to do the hair. It starts in the middle of the forehead, right above the eyes, right about here. From the middle cross to the top of your head, right in the middle here, that's where your hairline goes. Now that could look different for boys and girls. If you have bangs, it could look a little bit like this, or it could kind of be straight across, or if you have short hair. So go ahead and definitely use your mirror and see how your hairline looks and what kind of hair you have to make that accurate. Now this is all hair too, up here. Now we're going to add the neck. Now a lot of times people add a tiny little skinny neck like that. Don't do that. Our neck, if you really look at a person and you're very observant, it actually starts kind of out here. It's a bigger neck than you might think. So I'm going to draw a line down from there, a line down from here. So really look at your neck. It's just a tiny bit skinnier than your head is. So make sure you don't get a tiny little neck there. If you have long hair, you might want to add some longer hair down here. If you have curly hair, you might need to add some curly hair. Remember, this is a self-portrait. It's of you. So make sure that you have your features in the drawing. Now I'm going to add eyebrows just above the eye at a nice curve. a little bit thicker towards the middle. If you position the eyebrows a little bit silly, it could make you look very angry, or it could make you look sad. Eyebrows do a lot of emotion. Now that's the basics of your proportions in drawing. And after you have all of these basics down, you can go ahead and erase your guidelines. Then you have a nice face with accurate proportion. That means that everything is at the right size and the right distance from everything else, just like Leonardo da Vinci did.